I've personally been attacked thousands of times now by just individuals, people in Australia, people in Europe, people in the United States. They say that I've been a shill for China, that I'm paid by the Chinese government in order to, I don't know, I don't know what to help China take over the world or something like that. Anyway, there's also been some coordinated attacks at the same time against Chinese car brands. And we have headlines like this that are unfortunately spreading some pretty terrible false information. Stuff that it sounds like a spy movie, either that or an incredible conspiracy theory. And it's sort of getting out of hand. The media globally, they kind of need someone to say to them, you know what, guys? I think enough is enough. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. There's been an article here. It's in Australia, but it's in other countries as well. They've picked up on it. They're saying that Chinese cars have been placed strategically next to an Australian military base in Australia in order to spy on the military so that the Chinese government can prepare for an attack or something like that. I mean, guys, this sort of stuff is just absolutely ludicrous. Anyhow, car expert, yeah, they seem to be desperate for clicks. They've said that Chinese cars have been stockpiled near Australia's largest Air Force base, and they are a drastic security threat where apparently they are a ticking time bomb. A ticking time bomb because they are spying on us poor little Australians so that the Chinese can come and take over. Now, guys, I personally think this is ridiculous, but I'm going to share with you what they said. New cars continue to be stockpiled in temporary holding yards around Australia as they await pre-delivery and shipment to dealerships. And the latest example uncovered is a large number of Chinese vehicles parked adjacent to Australia's largest Air Force base, raising concerns from security experts. I'm curious, are these security experts actually experts, or are they just people that they found on the street? I don't know. Just days after about 1,600 BYD vehicles were deemed to have been stored at Jamboree Action Family Fun Park, not far from Sydney, without local government approval, hundreds of new Chery and Omoda JQ vehicles have now been spotted in a makeshift car park directly opposite the main entrance and pass office for RAAF base Amberley in Brisbane. YouTube's new algorithm means that you're often not getting all of our videos in your feed. There's 7,500. I'm pretty sure you're probably not seeing a lot of them. In the description, there is a link to our newsletter. Click on that and you can get an update every day of all the latest news in the electric car industry. Now, guys, first of all, that quote talking about BYD cars being stockpiled in a car park, so what? That story was all over Australia, probably around, I believe it was actually in Car Scoops. It was in international media as well. So what? I mean, there were cars being stored in a car park that no one was actually using. I don't even see what the story is here. It seems to me that it's just targeted attacks against Chinese brands. And remember, most of these brands do not have any government state ownership in China. Most of them have none. There's a few of them that have some state ownership, but most of them are not owned by the government at all. Anyhow, car expert goes on to say that the influx of new auto brands and models in Australia, particularly from China, has led to bottlenecks in the pre-delivery process between their arrival at shipping ports in capital cities and dealerships around the country. Now, I'm going to actually tell you if this article is true or not. They're obviously trying to build a narrative, so we'll continue here. The surge in new vehicle imports has led to temporary holding yards being established outside many Australian capitals, including on farmland in the New South Wales Hunter Valley, as well as vacant blocks, airport precincts, and now it seems military installations. Now, this isn't actually on a military installation, but they're saying that it is. Images published by news.com.au show rows of brand new Chery and Omoda JQ vehicles parked at a paddock next to Amberley RAAF, or the Royal Australian Air Force, base without number plates and wrapped in protective factory plastic, leading to concerns they will pose a national security threat. So this information has been read now by, I believe, millions of Australians, and they believe because these vehicles are here, this is really a conspiracy from China. One security expert called for urgent action, warning that the combined car functionality of some of these vehicles could be used for hybrid warfare if the Chinese government chose to weaponize this technology. Also, my solar and batteries. I've got a 50 kilowatt hour battery here, and I've got a big solar array. So I pay $0 for electricity. That's including charging my electric car. Resync Solar is the company that I used. I'll put a link to them in the description below. First of all, if China wanted to take over Australia, they could do it in about a week, I'd say. Anyhow, this so-called expert said they have cameras and LiDAR and microphones that essentially allow real-time observation of everything around them. The manufacturer has access to all of those things. Apparently this guy, Mr. McGibbon, a former national cybersecurity advisor to the Australian government, has previously warned that modern vehicles are listening to you and they are surveillance devices. And he said electric vehicles could be turned into ticking time bombs. In other words, the government in China could choose to blow up all the electric vehicles in Australia at any point if it wanted to. So that includes Teslas, BMWs, all these different brands, right? Even legacy automakers. Basically, he's saying the Chinese government could just turn tens of thousands of EVs into bombs. Just press a button and bang, they're all going to explode. Yeah, you can see how insane this really is. Could you theoretically cause harm using those vehicles, said this expert? Yes, you could have the vehicles have accidents, but you could also turn off the safety features for things like charging, which prevent these things from blowing up. Right. There are people who can do that from the manufacturer by literally updating the software on the device, he said. Mr. McGibbon told the news here in Australia that allowing Chinese-made EVs to enter Australia in large numbers unchecked was, well, an unsafe thing to do, and that the nation's security priorities mean this is a huge risk. He said the last decision of the government's National Security Committee was to exclude high-risk vendors from 5G networks. I'll tell you what will have bigger political and economic consequences when these devices are turned off, and when we realize the extent of the mass surveillance occurring through them, then we'll rue the day we didn't make tough but logical choices about where we allow these technologies to be used in our economy and society. Australia does have rules around the protection of customer data collected by automakers, but today many new cars employ a variety of cameras and sensors, both inside and outside of the car, to facilitate advanced driver assistance and infotainment functions, like Sentry Mode, for example, while connected to car services allowing external functionality, including remote operation of some vehicles via smartphone. So some cars, yeah, you can drive them to a limited degree using your phone. However, Car Expert says that security experts claim these systems could be used to collect data that then becomes accessible to the Chinese government, which part owns many major Chinese automakers because Chinese law requires companies to cooperate with state intelligence agencies. Founder of Strategic Analysis Australia and former Defence Department official Michael Shoebridge told news.com.au that Chinese-made EVs pose real risks that Australia is failing to address. He said modern EVs are software-defined systems, more like smartphones on wheels than old Falcons. He's referring to old cars made in Australia. And that their constant connectivity gives Chinese intelligence agencies an abundance of data. They know what you're doing right now, as in right now, at this moment. From an intelligence collection point of view, this creates great opportunities for Chinese security agencies to have periodic access to information collected about the car's use and also potentially to information recorded by the vehicle while in use, he said. Every Chinese company is obliged to cooperate with Chinese intelligence services and to deny having done so. So the risks are real, but Australian government policy to deal with the risks is non-existent, with the possible reason being that any firm regulatory action or even acknowledgement of the problem could rain on the wonderful stabilised relationship our government says it has built with the regime in Beijing. Mr. Shoebridge pointed out that China itself banned Teslas from military and government premises due to similar surveillance concerns, which he said was proof that Chinese agencies are aware of the opportunities. The UK government earlier this year introduced restrictions requiring Chinese-made EVs to be parked at least 2 miles away from sensitive areas due to concerns their onboard sensors could be used to collect data. Similar concerns, says Car Expert, have been raised in the United States, where authorities have restricted the movement of Chinese-made vehicles around defense and government facilities and will ban Chinese software and hardware from being used in connected vehicles from the 2027 model year. In a statement to news.com.au, Department of Defense confirmed it's aware that vehicles manufactured by a Chinese company are currently being stored on private land alongside the Air Force Base in Australia. It said it has assessed the site and continues to monitor movements around the defence estate to ensure the highest levels of safety and security are maintained, adding that it does not comment on individual security arrangements at bases, but used a layered approach to security, including security contractors, military police, and local authorities to keep bases secure and respond to external threats. In other words, the Australian Air Force is saying this is not a threat. These cars can't see what we're doing. It's not a problem. We already know about them. And this is all a big beat up. For its part, says Martin Patendi at Car Expert, Ipswich City Council told news.com.au the land is zoned for medium impact industrial use, allowing storage activities, but noted that some operators may be subject to development approval. In other words, no one has actually done anything wrong. But everyone has decided this is another opportunity to stoke the fear of Western people, of Australians, probably Americans as well. Wow, the Chinese are coming to get us. Guys, what do you do when you're afraid? You click and you read more, don't you? You keep on in that news cycle. It's this dopamine hit, then you have a low, and then there's another dopamine hit, and you're going up and down. It's like watching YouTube shorts, which are not good for you. It's probably even worse than that, because this inspires fear and strong emotions and strong anti-Chinese sentiment when we don't need to be this way. We're not in a war. We're not in a war. There is no war right now. If there was a war, guys, it would be over very quickly. Satellites would be used. I don't think China needs a bunch of electric cars sitting around in fields in order to help it attack Australia, or America, or the UK, or anyone else. In my opinion, this is all kind of ridiculous. We all should just calm down, relax. You know what? Legacy automakers, whatever countries they're from, yeah, they have cars that can spy on you as well. And guess who started the last two world wars? Germany, both of them, yeah? Japan. So why are we constantly going after China? I don't really understand it. It's like, guys, it doesn't really align with history. Historically, China has been invaded by us, by the UK, by Japan. I mean, realistically, I don't think China wants to do anything except sell us as much stuff as they possibly can. So let's kind of back off on the fear. The fear-mongering is getting a little bit out of control. Now, guys, I should point out, if you're not a regular viewer of the channel, or if you're new to the channel, I've done 7,500 videos. Thousands of those have been on the American car company called Tesla. Some people say I'm a Tesla shill. Others say I'm a shill for Chinese car companies. You kind of can't be both things. Is it America that I love too much? Or is it China that I love too much? I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks for watching.